Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thanks for tuning in. The theme of this episode is the relationship advice subreddit, but updates only edition. Okay, let's get into it. The title of the first story is I, 32 female, purposefully ignored what my husband, 34 male, told me he wanted for Father's Day. He's now ignoring me and won't accept my apologies. What can I do to make it up to him? Me and my husband have been together for the past 9 years. We have 2 kids, an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. For Mother's Day, all I wanted was a free day. I wanted my husband to take the kids out somewhere for the day so I could be home alone and relax. Instead, he got me and the kids tickets to have a fun day out. It was fun, and me and the kids had a good time, but it irked me that he gave me the exact opposite of what I'd asked for. For Father's Day, my husband also wanted a free day, so he could stay home and game all day. He games all the time with his friends. He'll get home from work, maybe spend the time between then and dinner with the kids before going up to his office to game for a few hours with friends. Instead, I got him and the kids cards for an arcade an hour away with a ton of tokens. I gave him the cards during dinner on Saturday so he and the kids could leave early and spend all day playing with them. I got my free day, and he and the kids got to make a lot of memories together. He and I got into a fight when the kids went to bed. He was angry that I ignored what he wanted for Father's Day. I was angry he didn't see that he'd done the same exact thing to me on Mother's Day. He's been ignoring me since and won't accept my apologies. Edit, some people are thinking that me, my husband, and our kids went out for Mother's Day. We didn't. I took the kids out for a day while he played video games all day with his friends. Oh, you reap what you sow, mister. I just don't understand why he would even be mad at that, to be honest, because you did the same exact thing. Do you not realize that you did the same exact thing? Because that's actually kind of concerning to me that you would be mad about something that you literally did. You literally did the same exact thing, and then now that it's coming back around to you, you're upset. So then maybe you could take a step back, have some empathy, and realize why your wife was upset when you did that to her. Because now having it done to you doesn't make you feel that great, right? I don't know why she's even apologizing. In my opinion, she should not even apologize. She should just be like, and I get that this isn't like, a good way to handle something in a relationship, but sometimes you have to teach him a lesson. Sorry, I don't make the rules. Okay, there's another edit. It says, I can't believe I have to say this. I do not hate, resent, or in any other way dislike my children. My point was not that going on a day out with them is terrible and I hate it. My point was that it really sucks asking for one thing and being given the opposite. I don't know why people are hating on her because I don't think that she did anything wrong by wanting a day to herself. She hangs out with her kid, her kids, I'm sure, every day. Like, she has to be a mother every single day. On Mother's Day, the one thing that she asks for is just to rest and have a day. Like, I just have a free day. She should get that. I think that you should get whatever you want for Mother's Day and Father's Day. Okay, the one of the relevant comments says, that's hilarious. I wouldn't apologize at all. Tell him to come talk to you when he's done being a piss baby. OP said, I really don't feel sorry, and I feel like I was justified. I just want him to stop ignoring me. Well, you might have to just deal with that for a little bit, honestly, because you saying you're sorry is like saying that you did something wrong, when in reality, you didn't do anything wrong. You did exactly what he did. I mean, technically, whatever. There's a small update. It says, people keep asking me for an update, so here you go. We're in the process of getting a divorce. Now please stop asking for an update. I didn't know that my post would get so popular and people would decide to repost it to other platforms. If I had known that, I wouldn't have made a post at all. Ooh, sorry, not me feeding into that. Just kidding. This was like 2 years ago, so it's fine. I'm sure they're divorced by now. Some of the relevant comments. Thank you for updating us, and I'm sorry you have to go through this. Did he ever see a reason about the Mother's equals Father's Day gift, or did he remain willfully obtuse in the end? She said he hasn't, and still says that when he did it to me, it was different when I did the same thing to him. Boo, tomatoes. Seriously? Why don't they get marriage counseling? Someone said. And OP said he refused to go many times until he told me he wanted a divorce, and all of a sudden it was, we don't have to go that far. What happened to till death do us part? Why don't we go talk to someone for the kids? That ship sailed long ago. Okay, now there's an update. Mother's Day is infinitely better now that I'm single than it was when I was married. 7 months after the first update and 1 year after the original post. I didn't wake up to a messy kitchen that I was expected to clean after eating a subpar breakfast. I didn't have to fight with anyone over what gift I was given. I didn't have to cook dinner after an exhausting day where I got no help or thanks from my ex. I didn't have to do anything else that I came to expect with Mother's Day. I didn't feel the stress I have felt every other Mother's Day. I got to have a lazy morning in bed with my kids. We made pancakes for brunch. They gave me cards they'd made in school. And we watched movies on the couch all day and ordered pizza for dinner, and it was wonderful. Slay queen. Love that for you. Okay, the top comment says, I had an online acquaintance whose life got so much better and easier post-divorce. One of the biggest ways it changed was that she stopped waiting for him. He was seldom home, working late, which was really having an affair. And so he wasn't connected to what was going on. Their hardwood floor desperately needed refinishing, but he was supposed to be in charge, so she kept reminding him, etc. She offered to make all of the arrangements, and he got mad. That was his job. So it didn't get done at all until he moved out. Then she called contractors, got bids, got the floor done, and suddenly cleaning was easier, and the home was a lot more pleasant. Her son had never gotten to be a part of the Pinewood Derby at Boy Scouts because Dad was the one who was supposed to help make the car, and he wasn't ever home, and he never did until he moved out. Then Mom and the boy went into the garage and made the car together, and the kid came in second and won a prize for the design. He was a hoarder, so when she moved all his stuff out, she had room in the garage. Dinner time was a drag because she fed the boys at a sensible time, but because she had to keep food ready for him to eat whenever he'd come home, she couldn't really clean up and close the kitchen until he moved out. And then dinner was at a set time, clean up right after while the boys were still awake or available to help since they wouldn't be in the middle of homework.
If you want extra content weekly, head over to patreon.com/storytimesociety and become a member on there for extra content. Love you.
So I love that. Because number one, obviously he was having an affair. So like, get rid of that man's long time ago, please. And then number two, if he's making everything so much harder on you, if he's making your life harder, that is not a relationship. That is not what a relationship is supposed to be. A relationship is supposed to make things easier because you guys get to do things together and you guys get to actually like split up tasks and things like that. Or if one person is better at this and stays on top of one thing more, then another person is better at this and stays on top of that more. And I think that it just flows so much nicer when you guys like actually care to be involved in your relationship, and it makes things a lot easier. Like a relationship is not supposed to be this, like making your life so much harder, making it so much more stressful, like having to do all these extra things to cater to someone when they don't ever do anything on the flip side of things. They never do anything to help you or cater to you. And if you are in a relationship like that, I think, in my opinion, I would rather be single than be in a relationship that makes my life 20 times harder. Okay. The title of the next story is, My Wife Told Her Friends She Settled for Me. We have a perfect marriage. We've been together for 9 years, married for 4. We rarely fight. We're often intimate. We go out on date nights, send memes to each other, the works. Recently, we got news that her ex-boyfriend overdosed and passed away. Now, my wife has no connection to him, so we expressed our condolences to his family over text and nothing more. She often goes out with her friends, and I always let her. I have no problem with it because I used to trust her 100%. I had to work late, so I told my wife that if she wants, she can call her friends over to our place since I wouldn't be around. Well, the rains were heavy and our office was told to leave early because some light flooding was taking place on the roads. I reached home and I could tell her friends were there, so I quietly went to our room unnoticed. Everyone was speaking quite loudly though, so I could hear a lot, and the ex-boyfriend came up in conversation. My wife said that 4 years into our relationship, She got a call from her ex-boyfriend, who lived in a trailer, offering to help her see the world. She said she had a bag packed and was ready to leave, but in the end decided not to and settled for the stability that I was giving her. I didn't know about any of this. She never told me, and she says that apparently she settled for me. One of her friends asked her if she ever regretted her choice. She said that she used to, but not recently. I guess that's it, right? I'm not unstable enough for her to be attracted to me. She has to settle for someone like me. That one word just keeps revolving in my head. I slipped out of the house and went to a cafe to gather my thoughts, but got a call from her asking me where I was. That I was due home half an hour ago. I went back and she greeted me with a hug and a kiss as always, but I wasn't really into it, and she asked me why my mood was off. I mumbled something like stress from work and went to bed, skipping dinner and our usual alone time. Except I couldn't sleep. I woke up a few hours later into the night and sat in the balcony just thinking about how I'm not good enough for her, about how I'm sure she doesn't love me. I know she at least loves me a little, but even for that, I have no guarantee. It's the next day now. I didn't sleep much last night, and wife's still asleep. I didn't tell anyone anything about what she said because I just can't. What do I do here, guys? Should I even talk to her? Divorce? Question mark. Is there any hope for us moving forward? Does she even want to move forward? I don't know. I'm sorry for how jumbled up this is. My head is not really in the right place now. I gotta say, communication, girl. Or boy, but girl, you gotta talk to her. Just talk to her and say, hey, like I came home because I got home from work early and I was slipping in and I kind of heard you say something and it really hurt my feelings. And I just wanted to discuss further. Because usually when you're talking to your friends, like talking to your girlfriends is just such a different vibe. You're obviously not expecting your husband to be listening in on you, which I know that it's not his fault because they were obviously like talking loudly and whatever, but I think that like talking alone with your girlfriends, you're just so not on guard at all. I'm not saying you have to be on guard when your partner is around, but obviously you are just being very candid about stuff, I guess, and you want to explain it in the best way possible. And you're just like you're just open. I don't know. It's like, I feel like if you're a girl, like talking to your girlfriends is just so different. And you kind of know with your friends like how they mean to say things. Does that make sense? Obviously, I would be so hurt if I heard my boyfriend say this to his friends about me, and I don't blame him for being hurt at all. I think that is like a very terrible thing to overhear. But I do feel like, I mean, just as like it's not the same, but I can kind of compare it to like, I'm sure if he were in the locker room, locker talk, like boys do locker talk or locker room talk or whatever. And if girls were overhearing that, that's not how they regularly speak out in public. Not saying every guy talks like that in a locker room, but obviously you guys get what I mean, right? There's an update. The general consensus amongst the top comments is to talk to his wife and decide whether to stay or go. Update to my wife telling her friends she settled for me. Happy update. I made a post the other day about my wife saying something jarring. Some people asked for an update, so here it is. Well, immediately after the revelation, first I drove to a nearby town and took 2 days just for me and my thoughts. I called in sick from work and told my wife that I was visiting a cousin. I then read all the comments you guys had for me. I really wanted to reply to some, but the thread was locked. But I nevertheless read each one, and it was a lot of mixed advice. Everyone was advising me to talk to her, but everyone had different views on what to say to her. Some said to ask for a divorce. Some said ask her what she meant, and some defended her and told me I misunderstood everything. I decided to go for the middle option. Yesterday, I finally confronted her about it. I walked in and she came up to me for our hug, but I didn't really give one back. She asked me what was wrong, and I told her we had to talk. I sat her down. She could tell I was sad and worried, and I asked her if she was happy with me. She said that of course she was. I asked her if she loved me and if she had done so through the entire course of our relationship. She looked confused and said of course she did, and asked me where this was coming from. I told her that I heard her with her friends a few days ago. I heard how she was willing to leave me after 4 years to be with her ex and how she claimed to have settled for me. She teared up and said she didn't mean it like that, to which I asked how she meant it. She said that by settled for, she didn't mean that she thought she could do better and was dating down, but that she made up her mind to stay with me because I was the better person. I told her that 4 years into our relationship, there shouldn't have been a question in the first place, and brought up the fact that she said she had a bag packed. She started crying and said that was an exaggeration on her part, that she only considered it, and that was in a moment of weakness when we were having a fight and briefly on a break. Her ex called her because he heard about our fight through a friend, and they spoke on the phone for about an hour in which he flirted with her, put me down, and offered to show her the world. She said she had a choice between going with her ex or reconciling with me, and she chose me because she loved me and always will. She said that 4 years ago, she was a weaker person, that I made her stronger and better. I then brought up the fact that she said she regretted it but hadn't done so recently. I asked her what she meant by recently, and she said that she regretted her choice for only a month after the offer was made because she had thoughts about what could have been, but stopped when she realized that she had the best moments of her life with me. I asked her if anything happened between her and anyone else through the course of our relationship, to which she said that she never cheated on me and she never will. I believe her. We were both crying at this stage and we just hugged and sat together. She apologized for what she said and what she was like 5 years ago. I apologized for listening in on a private conversation without telling her and for doubting that she loved me. I'm really happy that it was nothing but a misunderstanding, and I'm glad we were able to come out stronger. Some people mentioned that I should get a DNA test for the kids, but we don't have any kids, so that's not a problem. Also, she mentioned possibly having survivor's guilt, so we're going to look into that too. Thank you everyone who commented and DM'd me. Your advice was really appreciated. What does that mean, survivor's guilt? Wait, what? Did I miss something? Oh, sorry. Oh my God. We got the news that her ex-boyfriend overdosed and passed away. That was literally in the beginning, and I totally blanked that out and didn't realize, but I get it now. Obviously, that brings up, okay. Well, that was an important detail for me to know, because obviously that brings up certain emotions, and that's like the reason that she was talking about it in the first place.
Storytime Society is now available on all listening platforms. If you are on any of those listening platforms, I would really appreciate it if you rated me 5 stars. Thanks for all the support.
The top comment says, one of the best pieces of advice I've been given is that people in successful relationships choose each other every day. They choose to stay together, to work on issues together, to make decisions to support and strengthen the relationship rather than look outside. Obviously, this works best when both people are committed to the relationship. A woman I knew said the key to a lasting marriage was simply both parties not wanting to split up at the same time. Ian Dozman said, settled is such an awkward word to use in this context, since it has like at least 3 different meanings with completely different emotional tones. I settled, meaning I'm settled into a life I love with a person who fits me, or it was the best I was going to do, so whatever. Or eventually, after my mind was in a whirl, it came down on the side of this was better than that. Or even settle down, since he was talking about showing her the world. In what world is he going to show her the world? I mean, I feel like that's just not a reality that was even going to be a thing in the first place. I couldn't even imagine talking to my ex after being with my current boyfriend for 4 years. Even if we were on a break, like, the last person that I would be talking to would be my ex. I mean, like, ew, no. Let's run away together. No, I didn't even want to run away with you when I was with you, so no thank you. Peace be with you, though. Okay, the title of the next story is, my own friend convinced my husband that I cheated on him. He kicked me out of our house, and now she finally said she lied. I, 25 female, don't even know where to start because I'm devastated. She, 25 female, and I were best friends for over 10 years before all of this happened. She was my sister, my friend, the person I trusted the most. But to her, I was never anything. Because if I had meant something to her, she wouldn't have stabbed me in the back just because I married the man she wanted. And this is important because she did all this for that very reason. 8 years ago, we met my husband, 29 male, at college. We were in our first year, and he was the assistant to one of our professors. The 3 of us became very good friends until he and I started dating. At that time, she never told me that she had feelings for him, so I never questioned my relationship with him. During all these years, I trusted her with very important things about my husband and myself. The last thing was the most important thing that I ever told her, and that was that I'm pregnant. I even told her before I told my husband because I took the pregnancy test while I was with her because I trusted her with my whole life. And when the test came back positive, we both cried because it was a planned baby. She seemed so happy. My chest hurts knowing that all of that was fake. 6 months have passed since that day, and my husband started acting weird. He was always mad at me for absolutely no reason until I had enough and confronted him. He told me he's mad at me because he knows the truth. I asked him what he was talking about, and he showed me all the infidelity evidence that he has. They were chats from a dating app between a man and me, and I use quotes because I never created that account. Someone else did and used my photos that I never posted and that I only have on my phone. So it is impossible that someone has stolen them from my social media. In those chats, I told this man that I was pregnant and that I didn't know if it was his or my husband's. In those chats, even talked to that man about recent sexual encounters while I was pregnant and things like that no husband or wife wants to read about their partner. I told my husband that everything was fake and that I wanted to know where he got those screenshots, and he told me that they're screenshots of my old phone, a phone that I supposedly used to talk to other men. He told me that my best friend told him everything because she, quote, couldn't look him in the eye knowing the truth. Apparently she knew about my infidelities and told him to look for evidence on my old phone, and he did, and that's why he was acting weird the last few weeks. Of course, I told him that my friend is lying and that she probably used my phone without me knowing to do that I never created any account, and that I never slept with another man other than him in my whole life. But he didn't believe me. We had a fight and we called her to confront her, but all she said was that she was sorry, but that she no longer wanted to keep lying to one friend to save the other's ass. We had a horrible fight, but she was calm as an effing psycho, insisting that I'm a cheater. And I couldn't convince my husband that it's all a lie because the evidence indicates that I'm guilty. So he was furious and told me to pack my stuff and get out, that he wanted a divorce and a paternity test. I went to my mother's house and we did the paternity test, which obviously indicates that the baby is his. But still, he didn't believe me that I didn't cheat on him. We had a few more fights after we did the paternity test, and I ended up in the hospital because of the stress. And apparently that made my so-called friend see reason because she told my husband that everything he saw was fake and that it was she who made both accounts, mine and that of the man I was supposed to be cheating on him with. She said that she did it because she was jealous because since I'm pregnant, he doesn't pay attention to her anymore. She is very good friends with both of us since we met him, and that she lost her mind and acted in the worst way possible. She also said that now she's really sorry, that she never thought all this would go this far, and that she thought he'd just get mad for a few days and then forgive me because she knew that he loves me too much and would forgive me for anything. Since she confessed all that, he apologized in 1,000 ways, and we've talked a lot about what happened, and we've decided to give ourselves the space that we need. And we'll start going to therapy, but I don't know if that will be enough. Our relationship is at its worst. It's screwed up, and I'm afraid we can't work this out. And how could we? We said and did horrible things. During a fight, he told me to pack my stuff. I refused, and he took me by the arm to do it. And he was hurting me, so I pushed him, and he hit a piece of furniture, and that's when he took me by the arms again, but this time he did it to shake me. But he's so much stronger than me. Not only am I skinny compared to him, but he's also really tall. And when he did that, he really hurt me. And I don't know if we can be who we were in the past again. In the past, we almost never fought, and if we did, there was never any violence involved. How can we fix this other than in therapy? Ugh. That's really sad because I was going to say, like, you guys can definitely work it out until I heard about the violence thing. And I just think that no matter what, if you've never had a fight before with violence previous to that, I don't even think that matters because no man would ever be violent with a woman once. No good man would ever be violent with a woman one time, no matter how angry he was, no matter what she did, no matter anything. So I find that very concerning and very scary that he took to physical violence to express his feelings towards her. And that really scares me. And I don't think that in any situation, even if that has never happened in the past, and that's never even been like close to what's ever happened, or he's never even come close to doing that before, I still don't think it matters, because if they can do it once, they can do it again, and they most likely will do it again, especially knowing that you would come back and accept that behavior from him. And obviously, I know that it was through an emotional, a very emotional moment in a very emotional situation, but I still don't think that's right. I would never resort to violence with my partner, no matter what he did. Even if he cheated on me, I would never hit him. I would want to hit him, but I would never hit him. And I know for a fact that no matter what I did, like, my boyfriend would never lay a hand on me or any other woman. Not even, he wouldn't even think about it. He would never, ever, ever, ever resort to that kind of violence. I mean, we never even gotten in a screaming fight, which I'm not saying that's, like, obviously it's fine if you scream at someone, whatever. But, like, it's not good to do that often, I don't think. I think that if your fights are often resulting in screaming, then that's probably not a good thing in a relationship. But he's literally the calmest person I know, even through terrible situations or really annoying fights that we've gotten in. Like, he's never resorted to screaming and yelling or not even close to physical violence. If he ever did, I would literally take him to the doctor, because I would think he like had a brain tumor that was affecting his brain and turning him into a different person or something, because he is just so not that person. And I feel like you just can't risk it. You just cannot risk being in a relationship with someone who has ever put their hands on you, especially if you have this way out. Like, she is at a crossroads right now, and she's able to get out of the relationship because she's staying with her mom and whatnot. And I just think that the best decision would probably be to leave him. There is an update. Thank you for all the messages you sent me and the comments you left on my first post. I really appreciate it. Things have gotten a lot better since then. We talked to my now ex-friend, and she admitted to using my old phone to create that fake profile and also to message the other man. And I use quotes because that man never even existed. It was her. She used that phone when she came to my house every day since we had a business together. She knew where the phone was, and she also knew that no one ever used it, so she had everything perfectly planned out, which is scary because she really needs help. I mean, with all this, it is more than clear that she is a psychopath and needs help. I have to agree with that. She said all the things she did, and she had even told my husband that she drove me to meet that man so many times, and she told him that I made her pay with her card for the hotel where I met that man. And the truth is that I was never in any of those hotels, but all of that was right there, and it looked real, so of course he believed her. She has been my friend for so many years, but she has also been friends with him for over 8 years, so we trusted her, and we never thought she would do something like that. And when she started telling all those lies, it sounded real. In fact, the messages and everything looked very real. And I understand why my husband believed it. And if it had been the other way around, maybe I would have believed it too. On the other hand, my husband and I are still trying to cope with all this. After that violent episode, things got really hard between us. It is not easy to save a marriage once violence is involved, but we are trying. I came back home, and for now things are fine. But sometimes it's really warm here, and I wear t-shirts, and he doesn't even want to look at me because I still have the bruises from his hands on my arms. And they don't look too bad now, but they're still there after almost 2 months of that episode. And I'm guessing they'll take a while to go away since I'm a very pale person and my skin is very sensitive. But my arms don't hurt anymore or anything like that, so I don't mind the bruises. He has apologized for what he did, and I forgave him because it was something that affected us both. And I understand that we both got violent and we're both guilty for screwing up our relationship. But like I said, we're still trying to get over it. And I guess it will take a while to get over it. It won't be easy, but we are willing to work hard so that everything will get better by the time our baby arrives in a few weeks. That's why we started individual and couples therapy, so we hope everything gets better. Now we're focused on that. We're preparing her room and buying things for her, and for now, that's working. Our relationship is slowly getting back to how it was before, and I'm really happy about that because we've loved each other for 8 years. And the last thing I wanted was to throw away our relationship after all that time, because I know how our relationship was, and I know that this was the first time that we both reacted like this. And we promised each other that it will never happen again, and we will do everything possible so that it does not happen ever again. So that's all. I totally agree. This woman is crazy. That girl is crazy for planning out something so detailed and so devious. I can't even imagine ever, like, it being so premeditated is crazy. Just imagining that she was taking probably months to plan that whole situation out and to gather all of that fake evidence is so scary to think about. Like, it'd be so hard to trust anyone ever again, especially like a friend. I can't even imagine what she's going through. I mean, that's awful. That would emotionally destroy me, especially because it's like your friend that you've been friends with for years and years and years, that you trusted with everything in you. Even you having a business with her shows that you trusted a whole different side of her. Like, you trusted everything about this girl, and she completely blew it up in your face. The top comment says, wow, the ex-friend is seriously messed up. I can't imagine how a relationship recovers from what they've been through. That evil woman may get what she wants. She may have destroyed their marriage permanently. But I don't think that it was her. Like, I do obviously think that, you know, that's really fucked up, and that is what the argument stemmed from. But I think that if it weren't for physical violence, their relationship could definitely be mended. It would take time and it would take effort. But I think the biggest thing was the violence. And I don't think that's her fault. Like, it's obviously she's not the one that, like, was physical with them, you know? Starry Vash said, I would think OOP should look into pressing charges for slander or something against the friend and get a restraining order. Who knows what will happen after the baby is born? Hey, this might actually qualify as alienation of affection with monetary damages. I don't even know what that is. I'm super torn on the physical violence part. Usually my stance is 100% zero effing tolerance. There's no excuse. But I've had nightmares when my husband was cheating, completely unfounded, as he's literally the best person I know. And in my dreams, I'm devastated and so mad and hurt that I'm pushing him and pounding his chest, yelling, why? So I'm not sure that my usual go-to is the right stance to have here. If he just grabbed her arm because he wanted her out and she wasn't leaving, then I'm not sure I'd have reacted differently. I would have pressed charges on the friend and gotten an order of protection, especially since there's a ton of evidence, then move, change my cell, and never have an intentional contact with this horrible person. Edited to add, I didn't catch that she was pregnant. All above is wrong. F this dude. I think that it doesn't matter that she's pregnant. I think that even if she wasn't pregnant, why is her, I don't know, that makes it sound like she's less valuable because she wasn't pregnant. Like, oh, if he was physically violent with her as a non-pregnant woman, like, it's not that big of a deal, but she's pregnant, so that makes it even worse. It does make it worse, but I don't think that, like, I think it's equally as wrong. You should never touch a woman. You should never lay hands on a woman, pregnant or not. Period. Period, poo. The thing for me is that in most relationships, the man is stronger. Like, my boyfriend isn't even, he's not like buff or anything, but he's way stronger than I am. And I know that's not every relationship, but I feel like 90% of the time that's the case. And I know that if I like laid hands on my boyfriend out of anger or something, he would never come back with like laying his hands on me. You know what I mean? He's much stronger than me. He could do a lot more damage than I could. If I punched him, like, it wouldn't be that, it probably wouldn't hurt. It probably wouldn't hurt that bad, honestly. I mean, I'm not saying that's a good thing, and I'm not saying that you should be physically violent with your boyfriend ever. I would never do that. But I'm just saying, me punching him versus him, like, grabbing me and shaking me and or punching me back, his punch could do a lot more damage. Like, I probably would lose consciousness, and I would probably have a concussion because he's so much stronger than I am. So I feel like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, I just don't think there's any excuse for a man to lay his hands on a woman, especially her being like a skinny little frail girl as well, because clearly he is a lot stronger and taller and bigger than her. And No. M for Tango said, I mean, he grabbed her arm and was physically pushing her around while she was 6 months pregnant. Of course she pushed him back. As she said, he was hurting her. He then shook her like a rag doll. What she did was self-defense. What he did was straight up violence against his much smaller pregnant wife. There would be no coming back for me from that. It's a Terrible Life said, yeah, he revealed a nasty bit about his personality there. When things go wrong and he gets angry, he'll get violent. That's reason enough to hang this up and keep him the F away from the kid. Because that genie isn't going back into the bottle. It might hide for a few months or a few years, but it'll explode out again, and with probably worse results for OOP. Electrical Floor said, the most vulnerable time in a woman's life is when she is pregnant. Something like 98% of murdered pregnant women are homicides. That's really scary. Imagine how the BFF would feel if he would have killed his wife and the baby, then went to prison. What then, biatch? She's a nasty piece of trash. So let her take herself out. I don't blame OP a single bit for being on guard, and hubby needs to address laying hands regardless of how mad he was. And then someone said, I understand the fury, but if my husband didn't even give me the opportunity to defend myself, it would be game over for me. It was as easy as take the phone, send a message, and confront the other guy. He was even violent with a pregnant woman. He's not good enough. Yeah, I hate that she says we both got violent. No, he got violent, and she defended herself and her baby. Not really. He asked her to leave, so she was trespassing. He can use reasonable force to get her to leave since she didn't want to. It's her house, too, so it's not trespassing. Grabbing a pregnant woman's arm to the point of bruising is not reasonable force by any means, not to mention she can't possibly have been trespassing in her marital home. Ugh, I wish you would exit out the pregnant part. Like, I get that being pregnant makes you more fragile and more, but grabbing a woman's arm to the point of bruising is not reasonable, period. Why does she have to be pregnant? Like, why do you only see... I know that's probably not what these people mean, but that's what it's giving right now, and it's kind of bothering me because I'm watching Handmaid's Tale. I'm much more sensitive to this kind of talk, and it's stressing me out because women are not more valuable just because they're pregnant. They are not more... Like, yeah, of course, the statistic that this person said is very scary and you're more at risk when you're pregnant. But just because you're pregnant, like, no. Just say woman. A woman should not be physically harmed and should not be grabbed in that way by a man, period. She doesn't have to be pregnant. She doesn't have to be anything. I don't know why I'm so stuck on that. Like, I'm probably being annoying about it, but it's just bothering me. Like, honestly, I'm seriously sensitive right now because I'm reading The Handmaid's Tale and I'm also rewatching, and I'm already on season 5. Like, I'm almost done with rewatching it. And so just everything is very, fresh in my mind. And I'm not saying that, like, before I watched Handmaid's Tale, I didn't feel the same. I still feel the same way about physical violence against women. But I'm just saying that the pregnant part is very much, I don't know. In Handmaid's Tale, it's just so, like, the handmaids are only treated a little bit well when they're pregnant. And then obviously after they're pregnant, it's like, oh, bye, trash. Or next posting, they're treated like trash till they're pregnant, and then they get pregnant. It's like 9 months of okay treatment. I would not say good treatment at all. Okay treatment just because they're pregnant. And then it's like after that, they're nothing. Like they're nothing. They're just trash. And that's what's making me sad, because you get what I mean. I'm sure you guys get what I mean. Quicksilver said, she didn't tell the truth because OOP was stressed. I think she told the truth because husband didn't want anything to do with her. The moment she noticed she couldn't get with him, she told the truth because it would hurt husband to know everything he did was based on a lie. I don't think husband will be violent again, at least not so soon, but I don't think this relationship can be solved by slowly pretending nothing happened. Months of couples counseling that OOP did not mention in the first post and nothing on the second, and living apart before deciding if this is salvageable should be the answer. Staying with someone you have no trust in is not going to end well. No, I just can't support that. I just can't support being in a relationship with someone that physically harms you. Sorry. This person responded to that person saying, I don't think the husband will be violent again. And they said, doesn't matter. The moment he laid a hand on her, that's the moment things changed. We have a whole mental castle that we build with our core beliefs. One of OOP's core beliefs probably was that her husband was not a violent man, and believed even more so that he'd never physically hurt her. But he did, and that was a wrecking ball through her mental castle. It cannot stand anymore. The pieces don't fit back together either. They can never go back to the previous state. They just have to let it crumble and try to rebuild from scratch and see if it can be done. That's a good way to explain it. I've actually never heard about, I've never heard that way of explaining it before. A wrecking ball through that mental castle. That's kind of poetic and beautiful. Okay, well, that's the last story. Yet again, the end of this episode, my stomach is growling beyond belief. Am I okay? I just had some gummy worms not too long ago. I thought that would hold me off for a little bit, but I'm actually so damn hungry. I need to go eat a snack immediately. Immediately. Whenever I say immediately, it always reminds me of when the principal in Mean Girls is like, everyone meet in the gymnasium immediately. I don't know what my point was to bring that up, but anyways, love you guys. Let me know what you thought about that episode. Let me know what you thought about those stories. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. My new podcast, Ghosts. My new podcast, Ghosts on Tour, is out now, okay? I'm excited about it. The first couple episodes are a little bit I'm finding my footing right now. I do want to make the episodes longer, and I want to figure out how not to sound so professional and formal. So I'm working on it. Obviously, I'm going to get better with time, but just let me warm up, Hopefully you guys enjoy at least listening to the stories. And hopefully any of you guys will like it. Hopefully. I really hope so, because I really like this concept and I'm excited to continue doing these episodes. So if you guys want to watch, it's going to be in the description below. I'm going to put a link to it. Okay? Love you guys. And I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye. My merch is out. Yeah, but this is it. And this comes in pink, black, and white. If you want to get a little cute piece of merch, go grab one.
Link is in the description to purchase.
Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.